Hello and welcome to the 11 Steps to Sirius JoY audio lecture series. I'm your host, Christopher Witecki, the Sensei to some Sirius JoY. Today we're in episode 3, which is step 1, I love. Love, love, love. It is the energy that makes the world go round. And in metaphysics, that is literally the truth. Love is the energy behind all manifestation, behind all creation. This is why it's the first and most important step, step 1. The number one thing you must do is love and love yourself the most. Everything in our universe comes from love. In fact, the planet that rules love is the sun. The sun is the source of all life on Earth. Everything in reality runs from the sun, step 1, to I protect Pluto, step 0. Literally, our reality is from our love to the limits of our love. That creates everything that we experience as humans. In fact, if you know astrology and the glyph for the sun, it's a circle, which is step 0, with a dot in the center, which is love. So our reality is all about love casting. It's all about our heart filling with love and expanding out into the universe. And it is the love that attracts things to us. In fact, love is the secret ingredient to the law of attraction. Whatever your heart is playing, whatever note you are singing, is what you attract to you, always. And we often get caught up on love from other people. In fact, people think that love comes from the outside of them. They think that love comes from God, or love comes from their lovers, or love comes from their children, or love comes from their pets. But the way God universe built it is, all that love is coming from yourself. When you feel amazing love for your little kitty, that love isn't coming from your kitty, that love is coming from your own heart. When you feel in love with another human being, that love isn't coming from them, it's coming from you, your own heart. The truth is, we get off on feeling our own love for other things. That's what we want to experience. And what you may not know is the greatest love on earth is the love for ourself. In fact, the sun is an amazing example of that. The sun does not need the planets to be hot. The sun does not need gravitational pull to bring the planets around them. The sun actually loves itself. It's loving itself to the core, burning itself up with fusion. It can't get enough of itself. It's literally eating itself up with self-love. Trust me, you got to love yourself a whole lot to shine bright for 1 billion years, right? Now, religion has taught us as humans that we are not lovable unless we are absent of sin. And I have to tell you, this was an absolute lie, and this was a mind game that religion played on us humans. Literally, religion talked us out of loving ourselves unless we met their standards. And if you're talked out of loving yourself, you're talked out of your power. You're talked out of your ability to manifest. And if you think you need the love of others to be lovable, once again, you are out of your power. In fact, according to the 11 Steps to Sirius JoY, you don't even reach God until step 7. You have to love yourself from step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 before you reach heavenly spirits and connect to God. Now, truthfully, I think that's connecting to God once you're incarnated. The truth is, your heart is already connected to God. Your heart is the voice of God. I believe that God is love. In fact, I believe the love you feel is literally God incarnate on earth. If you want to point to one great source of God, it's the love in your heart, truly. So it's up to you to love yourself, to reach and understand spirit on the planet. It's up to you to love yourself to manifest reality. And the question is obvious. How do I love myself, Sensei? A lot of people, when asked the question, do you love yourself? They go, oh, sure, yeah, of course I do. It's a mental response, step 5. Well, I'm sorry, you can't get to a mental truth unless you've actually lived it at step 1. That's the nature of the steps. You must go through one step to get to another. Love is pure, and love is in our heart. To love yourself, you must understand that love is an energetic action. you must put this love into motion to make it into something real, which means you must literally do loving things for yourself in order to be saying that you love yourself. So I ask you the question, what have you done for yourself lately? What have you done today to love yourself in an amazing way? Was it vanilla love, some cheap card, from 7-Eleven, or did you go to Hallmark and give yourself an amazing card that made you laugh and was colorful and sparkly? How well do you love yourself, and how many times a day do you love yourself? To love yourself, you must place yourself in loving environments that will inspire your heart, and you must, step 0, protect yourself from environments that will put out your fire. To truly love yourself, you must always respond to yourself in loving ways. I know so many people, including myself, that used to be critical and mean like a drill sergeant inside myself, and frankly, that wasn't loving myself, and that was keeping me out of my personal power. Remember, love is the king or queen of your life, and think of a literal king or queen as our monarch example. Everything must be for the heart satisfaction. Everything must be for the king or queen's delight. Everything in the castle and everything in reality should point to things that the king or queen loves. And remember, step 1 comes after step 0, so you must protect everything you love all the time if you expect it to stick around. So what you find that I teach in the 11 Steps to Sirius JoY is that every single state of awareness, I protect, I feel, I believe, should all go along with the heart. So if you are not going along with your own heart, if you are living a lie to your heart, or if you're putting your heart off till later, you are not in harmony with the king or queen, you are not in your power, and you're not going to law of attract anything that delights you. I literally believe love turns into magic. I literally believe that there was no way Jesus was going to turn water into wine unless his heart was beaming with love at that very moment for himself. Not for his Father, for himself. For we are a part of God, right? So by loving yourself, you automatically are loving spirit. And if you want to pull off something really spectacular in this world, you got to love yourself a whole lot. And you know what's true is that's true for good guys or bad guys. Good guys that pull off amazing things love themselves a whole lot. And bad guys that pull off amazing things love themselves a whole lot too. In fact, they're the proof. For a bad guy to pull off miracles only means you don't need the love of others to be in your power. You only need the love of yourself. When it comes to relationships, love is the key to the law of attraction. If you love yourself a whole lot, you'll attract someone who loves themselves a whole lot as well. And anyone who loves themselves a whole lot has love to give. If you don't love yourself, you will attract someone who doesn't love themselves. And a lot of times, the agreement is, I don't love myself, so I'll love you. And they say, I don't love myself, so I'll love you. But sometimes you have a condition where you don't love yourself, and you draw on someone that totally vamps all of your energy away and seems to love themselves a whole lot. Well, you know what? That's not true. Anyone who steals your energy does not love themselves a lot. In fact, they don't have a source of love in their heart, which is why they have to steal yours. So you have a condition where you have law of attraction based on the heart, but law of opposites as far as what you attract. One who is a giving person that doesn't love themselves, and one who is a taking person who doesn't love themselves. The secret is love yourself, and you'll bring someone who loves themselves too. So to manifest big things, you have to love yourself a whole lot. The reason why people don't make money doing things they don't love is because they don't love it. If you don't love it, you're not going to law of attract any kind of abundance around it. Love is literally the energy of the universe. If you don't have any love for it, you'll have no energy for it. And if you want to manifest something spectacular, you need not only energy, but energy to go the extra mile. When you are pursuing what your heart wants and what you love, you will have unlimited energy from God and universe to keep going. In fact, one of my problems has been I pursued things I love, and I've literally run my body into the ground because the love provided so much energy, I wasn't listening to my body that needed a break. Another thing about love is that it's eternal and it will never end. You will always love forever and ever if you truly loved. A lot of people, when they break up with other people, they think the love has to go away, or they're confused that even though it's not working, they still love the person. You have to understand that love is eternal. You will always love that person forever and ever, whether you pretend to or not. And if you try to kill that love or close it down, you're only closing off your own potential power. The truth is that you love that person, but you love yourself more. And because you love yourself more, maybe you need to be in a different situation where someone loves you just as much. You're still going to love that person, but someone else is going to love you more. Our love does nothing but grow and grow and grow and grow until we reach that Jesus level where we love everybody on earth, brother or sister. The reason why love stories often change is because love actually never goes away, but it does seek to change direction. The direction it seeks to change is to go higher. Once you're on a path of love, you want more love, and this is really a good thing. But the problem is not everybody is willing to run down the path of love as long as you are. Some people will stop loving themselves after a couple of miles, where other people are willing to go the whole distance. So love never ends, it just changes direction. It wants to go up, it wants to be higher. And if one or two or other parties don't want to go higher, well, you'll still love them, but you must go higher, especially if you love yourself. Now, if you know your astrology, Leos are the sign of love. And the truth of the matter is, because we're built of love, everyone authentically is a Leo. It's just 11 other signs like to pretend being something else, okay? But a Leo is kind of a purebred. They love for love's sake alone. Now, people either love or hate Leos, and that's because you're identifying with your own heart and how much you are loved. The people who love Leos are the people who love themselves and want to be loved on that level. Literally, the inner child gets jealous that this other person is capable of loving themselves despite all these critical things. Well, the truth is you're being critical of them just like you're being critical of yourself, and you're not letting yourself love yourself on that level because of that criticism. And I gotta say, that criticism isn't very much a loving act to do now, is it? And if you want to study the whole love matrix, just like with I Protect, there's 3 Deacons of Love, and these also kind of describe the different Leos that we see in the universe. If your sun in the degrees in your natal horoscope is between 0 and 10, it doesn't matter what sign you are. The sun represents how high our love for ourself goes, and that's what it represents, how much we love ourself. So if you are a step 0 Leo, you were born loving yourself 0. If you're a step 29 Leo, you were born loving yourself a whole lot. The same goes true maybe with the sign of Gemini. If you're a step 0 Gemini, you were Gemini born not loving yourself at all. But if you're a step 29 Gemini, you love yourself to the highest degree love is possible, even though you're a Gemini. Now, for those who have sun degrees between 0 and 10, these are the beginners of self-love. These are usually the people, including the Leos, that are kind of hungry and starved for everyone's attention because they haven't yet learned that love comes from themselves, and they're still under the lie that they have to do something for other people's love. So these can be your obnoxious Leos that go way over the top to try to earn people's love, and eventually they do learn to love themselves. Now, this is true with all signs. 0 through 10 degrees, no matter what sign you are, if you're born in the first 0 through 10 steps, you yourself are learning to love yourself first and foremost, and you must put yourself first before you try to entangle with other people, if you can. Those who are born under step 11 through step 19, or 11 to 19 degrees of any sign, these are the people who are proficient at loving themselves, but they're working to be able to love others. And usually the problem with these degrees of love is they will quite often abandon the love for themselves that they learned between step 0 and 10 a few lifetimes ago, and they'll give it away to a person first. And so they have to learn, okay, I have to continue loving myself even when another person shows up and make sure I'm still on my own side. So that's a bit more of a complicated juggling act for people on Earth. The masters of self-love run from step 20 to step 29. These are your emotional and passionate lovers, your poets, your masters. These people have lived entire lifetimes with amazing love, and they're used to being loved on a huge, gigantic level, and they expect great things out of love. Now, even though it's a master of love, which means that they have the potential of reaching the highest heights on earth, it doesn't mean it comes easy. They still have to bring their self-love all the way up to step 20 before they start law of attracting their equal. So what you often find is a lot of relationships between people who are masters and people who are beginners, because the beginner is willing to do anything to get love for them, and the master really is kind of lazy and doesn't want to do anything to self-love. They just want to go back to that past life memory and skip all the steps. So you find a lot of codependent love relationships between people who are beginners and people who are masters. You can look for it in your natal chart. It's quite compelling, something I've noticed over the years. Now, the one thing you should absolutely know is there are no limits on love. So if you're born as a step 1 or a step 2 when it comes to self-love, you can take the actions every day and bring yourself to a step 29. Nothing will limit you. It's just you're born at a certain level, and you have to work or put time and energy or love into the equation to bring it up to another level. The same is true with the master manifestation. If you want to manifest something kind of small, you only have to have so much love for it. If you want to manifest something gigantic, like a trip to the moon, you have to have tremendous love for it and hold the love for the project. So the potential of what you can manifest is directly proportionate to how much you love yourself and how much you love the project you're trying to manifest. Now, many of my clients will come to me and report that they feel lost in their life. They don't know what they want. They don't know what to go for. They don't even know where to start. Well, if that's the case, you, my friend, are out of touch with step 1, your heart. You probably left your heart behind a long time ago when you were a child. You probably were born to some sort of environment that made you put your heart aside for other things. And you've been putting your heart aside for so long, you're not even talking to the king or queen anymore. I have other clients that are always stuck between 2 choices and don't know which way to go. The answer is, what you love the most is the way you're supposed to go. And they say, I don't know what I love the most. Well, you got to sit down, you got to process it and ask your heart, which candy do you want the most? Make sure you tell your heart you're going to get all the candy you want. We just need to know what you love the most right now, because love and your heart is the compass of the path to go. Now, if you're out of touch with your heart, you got to start at the toddler level, particularly if you had a bad childhood. So if you had a bad childhood that started at age 3, you got to start talking to your 3-year-old inside of you, which is, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite shape? What smells do you love? What tastes do you love? What activities do you love to do? What do you love to experience on earth? Once you start to get these down and you start to give them to yourself, okay, don't just say you love the taste of grapes. Go get yourself some grapes at the grocery store, okay? Then this love response starts to build into goals. Now you want not just one grape, but grape pudding, and you go farther and farther. So you literally go down a yellow brick road of love if you've lost connection to your heart. Start simple and just keep growing with that child. The inner toddler in you will want more and more love naturally, and eventually you'll be led to your true dreams and your true goals and the reason you were born on earth in the first place, what your heart wants. So, continuing with our manifestation project, let's apply the steps for you to manifest a change in your life or manifest something concrete in your life. Always going through the steps. Step 0, are you protected? Are your walls up? Because if you're not protected, step 1 cannot happen. You cannot open your heart if you don't feel safe. That's something that God built into the matrix, okay? Then we move on to step 1. What do you love about the project? What do you love doing about the project? What do you love doing within the project? Do you love the project before you have it? Do you think you can love this thing endlessly and endlessly forever and ever and ever? Because your heart has to be really wanting it 100%. You know, a lot of people ask me how it is I can work so hard and so much. Well, I'll tell you, I love astrology. I love making TV. I love talking to people. I love making pretty graphics, which I post on my website. I love playing the radio DJ like I am right now. Okay? I even love designing software, which I'm doing. I can go and go like the Energizer Bunny because these are all things that I totally love. And when one is done, there's something else I love to do. You may ask, Chris, do you love the little fame you get on the internet? And the answer is, I really wasn't in it for that. That's an outcome that I have come to love. I absolutely do love it. But really, I loved the process. I loved getting here and authentically getting here. And it is that exactly that'll get you to your dreams. You must love the process and not the outcome. A lot of clients will joke with me, oh, I love $1 million. That's the outcome. You won't get $1 million unless you love a process that leads you to $1 million. What you seek the most is to love being you. So whatever you're manifesting, whatever you're trying to law of attract, you must love being you in the process. You must love being you when you get it. The more you love it, the faster it will come. I would say that step 1 sometimes takes a long time. I have taken up to 6 months before to decide what I love and exactly what I want. And quite often, most of the time in hanging up my manifestations is I haven't finished processing all the things I love about what I want. And so I have a lot of Christmas shopping to do for a long time. Don't rush yourself. Don't try to go to step 2 unless you're absolutely in love with step 1. All right, my friend, this concludes step 1, I love. Our next episode will be step 2, I feel. Until then, remember that I truly love myself, and I also love you.
Live, love, be.